Hi, it's John Burrows, the eFixer. This is a demonstration of one of the key features, the key elements of the Quick Fix eFix course. It is a demonstration, purely a demonstration of the sparking session, the first sparking section, which is called the eFix Your Mindset. What would have occurred and occurs before every one is a coaching session where we ask you 4 specific questions as a small business owner and entrepreneur that we doubt that you've ever been asked before, and make you think very much deeper about actually where you are as opposed to where you think you are. And it enables me, the coach, to understand a lot more about how I deliver the course and particularly how I take forward the coaching with you. So very quickly moving through the slides, what every single one of these modules has, the sparking session, is a trigger question. As you'll already see, it's an open-ended question on each basis, and it's there for discussion basis. So we discuss with you exactly what it is you think the key difference is. Then we move on to our answer and try and make that to a heightened state of awareness, to not the point that you agree, but you can understand exactly where we're coming from, so that when we go through further into the sparking session, you can take the evidence we put forward and come to your own natural conclusion of whether we're right or wrong. Big thing that we need to do at the early stages of the session is to understand if you have understood what coaching is as opposed to training or teaching. And so there is a quote that we use it from. And one of the most important and critically important features of this particular course is the utilization of the digital sphere, particularly YouTube and Google in itself. So you don't receive a workbook or a textbook. On the learning aid, active learning aid that you receive after this sparking session, there is some very well chosen YouTube videos against every single theory that we're going to use as part of your understanding and heightened awareness. Each individual video, it's incredibly well chosen, comes from normally the source of the theory, so the person who's come up with it or the person who's used it. And as you know, the aggregator on the right-hand side will allow you as an active learner and thinker to go off and access and continually access up-to-date information around the same way of thinking. This is very important. So we then move into the key theories. So the first theory that we talk about is obviously the E-Myth Revisited. And to give you an insight into that, it's about a guy called Michael Gerber, who 30 odd years ago described everybody in small business as having what he called an entrepreneurial seizure, and that he defined that was why most of them weren't sustainable or failed or didn't scale or grow, and that was an opportunity to e-fix it, which is where my eFix course comes from. And his thesis, which is what we explore in more detail, is to become a master of business science, something that I never thought was possible then, and I still don't. We then move on to look at effectual action. So Sarah Savathy, who is an American professor, has been looking at specifically the way that entrepreneurs, 27 of them in particular, think and behave, and has developed a 5 principles of how you think and behave, something else that we will share with you and discuss with you when it's appropriate. Our specific interest, and where we spend most of our time, is looking at traits. Traits are innate talents. They're things that are deep in within us and can be changed instantly. And we go through the 7 as part of our dialogue, particularly focusing in on the last one, which I will just explain a bit further about. And it's the willing and able to change rapidly one, which we believe sincerely is the most key thing that every single small business owner like yourself and or entrepreneur needs to get involved with and understand right now. There's an assignment which allows us to move into the coaching session. So the little trick here is to ask the coachee to go off through active thinking and learning to discover whether they've actually got a fixed or growth mindset. And obviously what we expected to do in the coaching session that follows this is to discuss and talk through whether they believe and think for their own assessment that they have the right mindset. And then obviously we're looking at gap analysis. What I will do just quickly is share with you what happens after this. As I've explained, once we've completed this particular sparking session, there's a coaching session where we look at everything that you may have understood and learned, where you are in that process. We then move on to looking at the 3 modules that make up the full course. eFix Your Place. Some really interesting theories in there about how you do understand where the best place is to be in the right place at the right time with the right product. Things like the blue ocean strategy, the 5 forces, and crossing the chasm are theories that we look at in context to others to help you to bring this pattern of thinking together to enable you to make those decisions for yourself. We have a coaching session after that. We move on to eFix Discovering Your Viable, Repeatable and Scale Up Business Model, which I will instantly say is possible if you think in a very lean, agile orientated way. So you can already understand the theories that we expand on in that particular module. And then finally, but fundamentally, it's about how you, before you're able to work on your business, start thinking on your business. And the key to that, I'll just give this away, is to stop thinking when anything is new, when you need to do things new in your business. It's not to keep thinking, how do I do that? It's who do I get to do it? And then finally, something that's already formulating behind the background is once you've finished the full course, and we've had the final full hour coaching session, which allows you to formulate your own roadmap for the future, is how we can support that going forward. Thank you very much for taking the time and trouble to watch and listen to this video. As always, if you require any further information, please get in touch with me as soon as you can. I look forward to seeing you on the course, of course, because that's what this is all about. Thank you for your time.